Between the boundaries of light and darkness, beyond even the depth and the height of our existence, we must understand that the universe around us is comprised of things seen and unseen. Sometimes in our perception, we have to change our perspective and look at things differently, and sometimes that has to be from a paranormal point of view. There are things known and there are things unknown, and in between are the doors of perception, and the doorways of perception are now open. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your humble host, Dennis Carroll, and this is episode 24 of Paranormal Point of View. I want to welcome you all here tonight. We're going to have an interesting show ahead of us. We're going to take the strange train again, folks, and we're going into some very, very dark places tonight, I'm afraid. We're going to talk about the black SUVs that are seen around sometimes, the strange disappearance of people. We're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, cursed objects. Now, you might remember last week we were doing blessed objects, and we were also doing a blessing on those. But this week we're going to talk about cursed objects. You do not want these definitely in your life and in your house, okay? Absolutely. So we're going to be talking about that as well. I want to give a shout out to everyone in the comment section there. Hello, Kathleen and Roger and Aussie Sue and Shiro and Robin and John Fortman. We're beginning to gather here in the grotto tonight for an interesting, I hope, a really great episode coming up here of Paranormal Point of View. Now, I've got a few announcements to make. Don't forget my special 2-hour seminar coming up June 26th. That's right, June 26th at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Hunting the Shadows podcast YouTube channel. Okay? That will be June 26th. And it's going to be the Nephilim, the Rise of the Fallen. I've already got all my notes ready for the seminar, so I think it's going to be interesting. You will not be bored for those 2 hours, I hope. It's going to be very, very good, I believe. I always enjoy the seminars. Definitely one of my favorites. I want to say, give a shout out to all our new subscribers. And if anybody out there is listening that haven't subscribed, now is a good time to do it. Hello, Crystal. Yeah, we want you to subscribe. We're like almost hovering at 750. So we want to knock that out. Okay. Absolutely. And, got another announcement to make. We still have got the deal going on with the t-shirts. If anybody wants a t-shirt out there, let me know. Send me your request. I will send you the artwork and where to go. You can do it in 5 minutes, and it's $19.95 free shipping. You don't get a deal like that anywhere. Most every place charges you $25, and that's not even shipping included with that. Okay, so you might want to check on that. And we also have we're beginning our own line of merchandise here, okay? We're going to have keychains, lapel pins, and necklaces for sale with the 7 archangels. Very highly protective amulets. You might want to think about getting them, and they will be blessed, okay? They will be absolutely prayed over when you get them, without doubt. And we will be offering those for $9.95, $2 shipping if you want to ship that in on that. And also, I've also got ordered some special mailers. You'll want to keep the mailer, okay? You definitely want to keep that to put your stuff in. If you're like me, you got a lot of junk. You can use the mailers for that. But let me know. All you got to do is send me request with your address. Don't forget to give me your address. I'm talking about your mailing address. And send it to denniswcarroll@gmail.com, okay? And let me know what you decide you want with that, all right? Okay. That's one thing we got. We're looking into maybe doing, if any of you would like a copy of my books, one of my books, whether it's Beyond the Shadows, Field Guide to the Paranormal, or The Road Unseen, a journey into high strangeness. If you want a copy and you want them signed, please let me know, okay? The books are $15, okay? That includes the shipping for the book. It costs a little bit more to ship books. They're heavier, okay? But you let me know if you decide you want that. I will definitely sign it for you, whatever way you want with that. So just give me a shout on that. Now, don't forget, this Monday night at 9 o'clock p.m. here on the Hunting the Shadows YouTube channel, my good friend Gerald Fountain and I will once again be hosting The Road Less Traveled. You want to join us on The Road Less Traveled, okay, folks? We're looking for adventure, and then this episode coming up is going to be one of my favorite subjects. Lizzie Borden, whack, whack, whack. Okay, that's her, the axe lady. We're going to be talking about her. She is one of the most, not the most, but one of the most famous crimes in America, okay? And we're going to be talking about her and some other axe murderers as well, okay? Not just her, but we're going to get into some axe murdering here, folks, on The Road Less Traveled. And let's see what we got here. Crystal sent me a super sticker. Thank you so much, dear. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Crystal. And that will, any donations anyone wants to make will definitely go to our overhead costs and expenses. Okay, I appreciate that. But thank you very much, Crystal. And we are now able to do the super stickers if anybody wants to send them to us or whatever. John Fulton, please send. Let's see what we put that up. Please send your own true paranormal stories in for Dennis to feature on the show. I bet his crew has some great stories. Okay, yeah, I'm sure you all have some great stories you want to share with us. Absolutely, don't forget to do that. We're always open for that. Whether you want advice, you just want to make some observations, you want to argue with us on a point that you don't understand or you don't believe, or whatever the situation. We want to hear your feedback. Like I've said so many times before, this is not my podcast alone. I give this over to you too. This is your podcast as well. You have a voice here. You will always have input and a voice on my podcast. Okay, don't think for 1 minute you won't, because you are family. Okay. Crystal says the super stickers are available. Just hit the $ near the chat. Thank you, Crystal. Very easy to do if anybody wants to do that. Appreciate it. And that helps. Like I say, that goes a long way to help us out. And hello, Ursa. Good to have you here. And I think I mentioned you, Kathleen, but if I didn't, hello, Kathleen. I love that name. That's an old Irish name. What's that song? I'll bring you home again, Kathleen. I always like that. That's good. And the Abbott, Mr. Abbott is in here tonight. Mr. Abbott Hoffman. Okay, as we gather in here, we got some interesting conversation ahead of us. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something about cursed items. I've always been fascinated by that, and we're gonna talk about that. There's two types. Well, there are more than two types, but there are two main types of cursed objects we're going to be getting into tonight. That's the kind that have some kind of bad luck or evil attached to them, and then there's another kind that actually that evil is put on them for a purpose. Those are demon snares and devil traps. Okay, and we're going to be talking about those. Good evening, Cryptid Huntress. Good to have you here, dear. And thank you, Aussie Sue. I appreciate that. I really do. That will go a long way in helping us out there. Absolutely. And thank you so much. And um, I'm watching very closely tonight. I'm trying to watch the comments. Okay. Yes, I can talk and chew bubble gum at the same time, but it takes me a while to get used to it. Okay. But anyway, it's been really. I've been out in the leafy green trying to find the seen and the unseen. Yes. Okay. It's getting kind of warm out there, folks. Got up to about where I'm at, 94 today, but I hear it's even my friend in Athens, Greece, says it's like 106 there. My gosh, it's getting bad. It's going to be a long, hot summer, I'm afraid. Absolutely. Unless you're in Australia. I think it's winter in Australia, right? But anyway. By the way, if you didn't catch Jessica's show the other night with the time traveling guy, that was a great, great episode. You need to check it out. Go to the Cryptid Huntress website and check it out. I'm a big fan of time traveling stuff. You know that. I go way back with that. But and also check out Midwest while you're at it. Don't forget my friends over at Midwest Night Watchers. They're watching the night for us. I hope they're our first line of defense against the aliens or whatever. Okay, they'll let us know when they see them and if they're coming. So it's the Cryptid Hunter says, thanks, Dennis. The show, the Voodoo Zombie show we did was great. Absolutely, I love that. It's a favorite, another one of my favorite subjects. Absolutely, all those zombies or something else. All right. Oh yeah. I actually wrote I like to write. I dabble in poetry a little bit, as you know, and I like to. I like what are called story poems. You know, you kind of put a story into a poem form, you know. And I actually wrote one about, zombies. Several of them I've written about voodoo and stuff like that. But the one that, one of my favorites was called, is where, the guy, they send a zombie to kill this guy. And he cuts his head off with a machete. So that's the way. Unfortunately, that is a quick way to deal with a zombie. Okay, that's it. But that will go with a lot of monsters or whatever. You take the head off, that usually solves the problem. But anyway. But I thought I'd give you a little treat tonight. I have I'm about to publish my next book. I've almost got it in place. Well, I've got it written. It just needs to be compiled on my next book of poetry that I'm going to put forth on. You know me, I like to play with poetry. I dabble with it a little bit. And I thought you might enjoy this poem tonight. I'm going to read it for you. Okay, it's called The Devil's Masquerade. We were devoured by the hours that crawled like a lost wayward beetle, each minute with a bite like the burning kiss of an incoming needle. Forsaken lives given up to a black altar of pain, time lost like tears in the fire of a judgment day rain. Somewhere east of Eden, deep in the night, we lost our souls in a doomed fight, and there fell our dreams 50,000 times 7. Down the road to hell, we lost our chance at heaven. We wait now where all hope will soon fade, the last remaining guest in the devil's masquerade. Now the laughter is forever gone as our masks we let slide. The party at last is over, and the music has finally died. And what for our souls did we so sadly trade for a dance with the dark master at the devil's masquerade? That's kind of a very dim view, isn't it? It's kind of what I would say, sort of a vision of hell, I guess you might say. But anyway, I thought you might enjoy listening to that. I like to dabble around with the wordplay. I'm a wordsmith, so that's my kind of stuff. But anyway, moving right along, we will. You like the cadence of that, John? Well, thank you. I like, poetry has to have a certain rhythm, or it's not poetry if it doesn't have rhythm to it. One of the masters of that, of course, was Shakespeare, and Poe, of course, could do it. And I'll tell you, another one was H.P. Lovecraft. That man wrote a book that thick of poetry. He was an excellent poet. Uh, yeah, let's see. Well, it sort of, I wrote it to sort of give you sort of a dance feeling, like you were at a dance or a masquerade or a party kind of a thing, But that's why I don't think that's one party I want to attend, folks. I don't want to be a part of the devil's masquerade. I don't think so. Okay, but anyway, let's get into our main stories tonight. First, we're going to talk about the black SUVs. Now, if anyone has read my book, The Road Unseen, I have been followed and tagged by these guys from time to time, but these are mainly government vehicles because they have government tags on them. But what I'm going to talk about tonight is a little more stranger. And as you know, I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of connections to the reservations, especially in the Southwest. Now, I did a good show just the other day, with my good friend, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. We did a show on the haunted Southwest. And if you haven't got a chance to check that out, go check it out at Bigfoot Michigan Rob's website. It's also available on my playlist. Okay, that's an easier way to find if you need to. If I want to check it out, we had a great show, about an hour and a half, of the haunted Southwest. Also, even got talking a little bit about the Kushtaka and some other stuff. So check it out. But anyway, I did mention the black SUVs, but we didn't get too deep into it. There are reports coming from the res of these mysterious black SUVs being seen parked in different places. And nobody's ever seen around them, and it's blacked out. The windows, have black film over them, darkened windows. Let's see, the cryptid hunters, I heard that all government vehicles have license plate that end in an L. I would think so. I never did get a good look. I mean, it says U.S. government on them. The ones I saw that have been hanging around and been following me from time to time I've seen that part of them. U.S. government on them. But anyway, the whole thing in a nutshell is these black SUVs are very mysterious, and they are connected to missing people. Now, on the res right now, there is an ongoing thing where a lot of young Native American people are coming up missing between the ages of 10, 12, on up to 16, 18, somewhere in there. A lot of these are young women, young girls that get missing. Yeah. Oh yeah, the cryptid, even the undercover vehicles. Yeah. Well, nothing on the road. If you ever see something without a tag on it, that is extraordinary. Nothing runs on the road without a tag. Even government vehicles, they have to have tags. That is the standard law in this country. But if you ever see a vehicle with no tags, there is something really screwy going on with that, okay? And that's what's going on with these SUVs I'm talking about. These mysterious black SUVs have no tags, okay? And you're not supposed to be able to run a vehicle like that. So anyway, the main thing is these disappearances that are occurring. Where are these young people going? Is this is criminal or what? What's going on with that? But I think it's very interesting that these black SUVs are being seen in these places, and they have no tags, and you can't see in them. They also talk of being called devil cars, devil automobiles. The people are very scared of these things, and rightly so. There's something very weird going on with this. Now, some people say this may tie in to Walking Sam. Now, I'm not going to get into Walking Sam tonight. That is very, very dark stuff. And we're talking about a suicide demon. That's what he basically is. I'm not going to get into that tonight, but when we do talk about that, we're definitely going to have to put the national suicide line up on that, okay? Because this is a bad thing. This is some very dark stuff that we're talking about here, but I'm not getting into Walking Sound tonight. He is sort of like I'll say this if some of you are not familiar with Walking Sam, I'll say this about him. He is actually a demon of suicide that attaches to you. Nobody else can see him but you. And he follows you around and whispers in your ear and tells you stuff until you commit suicide. And supposedly he is seen very much on the reservations and around a lot of these young people. And by the way, the suicide on the reservations, the suicide is way up there. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of that going on. It's very sad, but true that is happening. Let's see, Dragon Click says, I was walking one night in our local cemetery, and there was a heavy duty SUV. I turned around, it gave me bad vibes. I've never been one like I've seen that stuff. That's very much what we're talking about here, Dragon Collective. That is very much what's going on here. What is the weird, strange connection with these black SUVs? And like I say, they are tagless. You can't see the interior of them. But there has also been talk of purple, weird lights being seen inside the inside of these SUVs from time to time. They're almost described some ways as otherworldly or alien-like. There is speculation. Could this be some type of an alien abduction, a new kind that we don't know about? There's a lot of conjecture on this. Very strange stuff indeed happening, especially on the res. And like I say, I keep my ear to the reservation, and a lot of weird stuff are going on the reservations. Now I'm not just talking about skinwalkers. And by the way, I'm going to have to do a show one night on nothing but skinwalkers, because there's a lot of things people don't know about the skinwalkers that they need to know. The Diablero is an interesting thing to talk about, but a lot of them won't talk about that because they're kind of jinxed by talking about it. They're scared it's going to show up on their doorstep or whatever. And I see where they're coming from on that, because you can't invite certain things in your life if you're not careful. You don't want to do that. Absolutely. You want to be careful about doing stuff like that. But anyway, these black SUVs are strange, and I'll keep you up to date on it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of information going on with it now, but the more I find out about it, the more I will bring it to your attention. But I just find it very strange that I just, that this is kind of going on. It kind of feels like some kind of abduction thing going down or what. I don't know. It's very weird. So anyway, I'll keep an eye on it and see what comes up with it. But some people said this has been connected to Walking Sam. Now, of course, if you know the description of Walking Sam, he's like about 7 foot tall, pencil thin, always dressed in black. He's got a hat on. He looks demonic. And he was supposedly attached to you. Once he attaches to you, that's it. You're basically doomed to commit suicide, supposedly. I'm not going to get into that tonight. That's going to be a story for another night with Walking Sam. Jessica may do a show on that sometime, too, because it is a fascinating thing, although it's very sad. But unfortunately, a lot of the families that are out there tonight have been touched by suicide, and it's a very bad, very sad thing. And it is an epidemic in our country, in the world at large, basically. I think a lot has to do with a lot of the times that we're living in and the drug cultures and all these other things. There's a lot of bad juju out there, folks, definitely. A lot of bad spiritual stuff out there, and we need to guard ourselves more and more against it and be very careful with it. Usually people of German descent are abducted. Yeah, I've heard that thing. I've also had a tan van with a blackout windows follow me around. It's a possibility. Some of these could be rogue scientists. Some of these could be special military operations. The military don't have to use black for everything. They can use other colors if they want to, just to throw you off. Right now, I will tell you this: there are trucks driving around in this city, and I know this without a doubt because I was in law enforcement. There are unmarked police cars, but they're trucks. They just look just like regular traffic out there, but that's what they want to look like. Okay. And there is, let me tell you this right quick, there is a secret surveillance cable truck that they use to go around and surveil places or watch for people and all. It looks just like a cable truck, a TV cable truck, but it's not. Trust me, it's not. There's a lot of this stuff going on that you don't realize, and this stuff sounds like something out of a spy movie or something, but this is real stuff, folks. And it's really going on. Yeah, it says because yeah, suicide is a very it not only the bad thought of taking the life of the person that commits suicide, but it's the ripples that he makes in a family and the people around that individual. Absolutely. Thank you for that 999 super sticker there, Kathleen. Thank you so much, dear. I appreciate that. And that's super. Crystal says this. Crystal knows what I'm talking about here. I lost my husband 19 years suicide. But hard to go through. Absolutely. It takes not only a physical but a spiritual toll on you as well. Absolutely. Mental, physical, emotional, absolutely on that. And it is a bad thing all the way around, no matter which way you look at it. But a lot of families have been touched by this, unfortunately. Or we know someone who has, without a doubt. The fake cable trucks have little round things on the roof. Yeah. Yeah, there's certain little telltale signs about that. Yeah. Uh, yeah, the girl in her gong says, thank you, Kathleen. Michael, yes, thank you so much. And Carol Cleveland, sorry for your loss. How difficult. Yeah, it's a bad thing. You have to go through that, definitely. My camera's moving around on me tonight. I think it's haunted. It's haunted by me, I think. But anyway, that's the black SUVs I was going to talk to you about there. And that's sort of the first half of our show for tonight. And MPW is a $20 thing. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And that will go a long way to help me with the overhead and expenses. That is very well, much appreciated. Thank you so much. And if I missed anybody else, please forgive me. I'm very bad, and everybody knows I'm not good at the chat room stuff here, but I try. I try. We're gone. So thank you, girl, and you're gone, and they're gone. She gives a 499 sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Anyway, the second part of our show now, we're going to turn to cursed items, cursed objects. This is fascinating stuff, too. Now, let me tell you this, okay? And I mentioned this on Bigfoot Rob's show yesterday that we did. You have to be very careful what you bring into your life, okay? You got to be very careful what things you do in the way of bringing stuff in or allowing things into your life and into your house. And please be careful what your kids bring in too, or your grandkids, because they can unknowingly bring some of these bad stuff in. But the main thing is that a lot of these so-called cursed objects are things that have sort of bad luck attached to them. They have sort of an evil thing about them. They're sort of cursed by just being in proximity to something that was very bad, or maybe somebody playing around with uh, maybe opening portals or doing something like that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much on that. Anyway, get that down. Okay. Put that up. That is absolutely right. Correct. I will put that up for everybody to read. Anyway, the interesting thing about these cursed items, they could be just like, you might remember me telling you the story, and I told that again on Raw the other day about the haunted sofa that the woman had, the little love seat that actually somebody committed suicide on. And it was just bad. It has some bad, dark, negative vibes to it. Okay. And she eventually had the lady eventually got rid of that thing. She actually took it to the dump and dumped it. I told her some things to do with it before, do it. And of course, the way to uncurse an object is the same way you do. It's just the reverse of a blessing. In a way, sort of. And what you do is you anoint it with oil or holy water, and you salt it. You say a prayer over it. And if it's an item that you want to get rid of, you need to bury it. Bury it where you will never go back to it again. You don't ever want to pick this cursed thing back up. So you want to put it to rest forever. Okay. So that's a good thing to go with that. Okay, that's how you do it. Whatever that object may be. Now I have some around me here in my little studio here. I have some dark objects, but they have been neutralized. Okay, they have been neutralized, and I'd never try to ever have objects that have been used in occult practices. That's not a good idea. I have objects that are occult items, but they've never been used. You know, that's what I'm saying. They're brand new. I've got them only for teaching and exhibition purposes. Okay, they're not used. They're never used in occult ceremonies or whatever. So it's a good idea if you're going to have someone to get something that's never been used, because when something's been used, then there can be an attachment to it, and it might not be the attachment you want to go with. Okay, without a doubt. So anyway, the whole thing is, if you come up on an object like this, the less you handle it, the better. It's not a good idea to handle a cursed object. Just keep holding it, playing with it, or messing around with it until you bless it, until you get it cleansed, neutralized. Then, but still, it's still not a good idea to handle it too much. Okay, what I'm saying, you put it, and like I say, the best thing, the best resort is to get it out of your life by burying it somewhere, saying a prayer over it, salting, pray. You salt it, you anoint it, salt it, bury it, and say a prayer over it, and that's the end of it. It's almost like burying someone, like a funeral service in a way. And you are dying. This thing is dying out of your life. Okay, if you want to look at it that way. Throwing salt over her shoulder. That is an old thing, and of course that began, at the Last Supper. According to the superstition, I'm big on superstitions. I love to talk about superstitions. The salt over the shoulder. Actually, Judas supposedly at the Last Supper knocked the salt over, and that's always been bad luck since then. So it's bad luck if you spill salt. So that's why you take a pinch and throw it over your left shoulder. It's got to be the left shoulder, okay, because that's closer to your heart. You got to throw it over the left shoulder, and then you're okay. But it's sort of bad luck to spill salt, because it was bad luck for Judas Iscariot, by the way, evidently. He went out and hung himself after that. So anyway, that's just the superstition, though. That's the superstition of it. That's just like the black cat. In England, by the way, years ago, white cats were supposed to be bad luck, not black ones. But that's the way superstitions go. Okay, how do you know? Okay, sorry. The thing is moving around on me, didn't I? You anoint it the same way, like I said, with a blessing, like we did the blessing the other night. Let me move this a little bit here. My holder's moving on me here. The best way to do it is you anoint it with the sign of the cross. And you just say, I ask you, Lord, to bless this item, and that you anoint it with your power and your peace and protection, and with the whole power of the Holy Spirit, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's all you do, and you anoint it with the sign of the cross. You can do that with holy water. You can do that with blessed oil, or you can do that with salt. I like to salt it and anoint it. because that's just sort of a double whammy on it, and that's the way I like to go with that. And thank you, Philip, for that $5 sticker there. I appreciate that. Absolutely. I'm appreciate y'all tonight doing this. You're really helping me out a lot, definitely. And anyway, uh, the thing about it is, only humans place weight or blame, not creator. Right? That's true. I'm gonna tell you something. God, and I'm not gonna get too. I'm not. I get kind of frowned down on. I get kind of pushed down because they say I get too religious sometimes. I try not to do that, okay? But you got to remember I am a minister. But also, I'm going to have to say what I got to say. I say what I say, and I'm going to say it. But God is not in the business of condemning people. Jesus didn't come to condemn people. He didn't come he didn't do that. He came to save people. And God is in the saving business, not the condemning business. That is what Satan does. Satan condemns you. Satan, is always putting you down in front of God. He's always saying something about. He's bad mouthing you all the time. He is the condemner. He is the one that's doing it, not God. God don't do that. That's not God's job. God does not do it. God is in the saving business. Okay. Sometimes though, somebody has to somehow point our sins out to us. But we know deep down in the very heart and depth of our soul when we do something wrong and it's not right. We know it. We know it, okay? We are our own judges to a certain extent in that way. Juries too, by the way. That's always keep it real, guy. Won't you be having not to worry? Oh, thank you, John. But I mean, people get on my case a lot about, you're too religious. You ought to be talking about something else. You talk too much about that. But I got to say what I got to say, okay? And that's just the way that goes. But anyway, Gigi says life's more cruel than others. That's well, it rains on the just and the unjust alike. Okay, but when it starts becoming a storm every day, then you got to look at the path that maybe you're under a curse of some sort. Maybe you're doing something wrong. Okay, or something is wrong in your life. You need to question things. Things keep going wrong, but we all have bad things happen. Bad things happen to everybody. We just take that very personal. That's just the way humans are. Okay, but bad things happen to everybody. But it's not. And here's my own philosophy. It's not that you get knocked down. I've been knocked down a lot of times, way down low. But that's not the point. The point is, woe unto you if you don't get back up. That's what you got to do. You got to stand back up. Don't just lay there, okay? Because life's going to knock you down every chance it gets. But you got to pop back up like a cork in the water, okay? Don't blame Satan for your conscience choices you made. Absolutely. I'm not taking up for that old guy, but he don't have to push some of us very hard, okay? We're pushovers for Satan, okay? We don't have to fight him very hard, evidently we don't. God created the flowers to smell on sunny days. God also created the rattlesnake bites you when you bend over to smell them. Well, just make sure you look for rattlesnakes before you bend over in the flowers, okay? I like what Louis Gazard used to say. Don't bend over in the garden, Granny, because them taters got eyes. So do rattlesnakes. But anyway, but yeah, you got to watch out for some of these now. Now, there are other items, like the Hope Diamond or the stuff of King Tut, the tomb of King Tut, James Dean's automobile, what's left of it, the Bonnie and Clyde death car. There are a lot of objects out there that you definitely would not want to handle too much. You definitely wouldn't want in your house. Those are without a doubt have some kind of a curse on them, some kind of bad luck stuff on them. Okay, but then there are other items that are very subtle, and these are what we call the demon snares and devil traps. Okay, I'm gonna talk about those a little bit. When you hear the rattle, oh, that's why a rattlesnake's got a rattle. At least you got a chance with a rattlesnake, cause he's gonna warn you. I have been in that situation. I walked up. I remember one time it was a very thick grass, and I heard that, and it was very close. I'm going, okay, I will walk out very slowly. I could not see what was in there. There was no way I could see. If I could have seen the snake, I could have known what to do. And I said, well, the best part of valor is to back out of this situation. And that's what I did. I backed slowly away because that snake was doing what he's supposed to do. He's warning you, hey, you're about to step on me, buddy. You better not do that. So I always listen to the rattles. Okay. Oh, Bill says, yeah, bad stuff on them. Yeah, now, that's what I said. You've heard me mention before about never take anything from a cemetery. There are certain black witches and warlocks that just love to cast evil, black, mean spells on people. They just love to put curses out there. That's just their hobby. That's just the way these evil people work, folks. Okay, you gotta realize that there are people in the world that are like that. Okay, and they like to put these what we call demon snares and devil traps. Now, what these are items. It may be a coin. It may be a fetish looking thing, could have some feathers on it. It may be anything, okay? Anything. That's why I say they never take anything out of a cemetery because that's their number one place they love to leave these. But remember what your mom taught you? Never take Never take anything from a stranger. Why? Have you ever asked that? Why did my mama say that? Maybe a stranger wants to give me a lot of money. No. Most of the time, they're only going to give you evil. They're going to give you bad luck. They're going to give you a curse if you're not careful. Some kind of hex on you, okay? That's the way these people work. Because once you take that item, just like this phone right here, if you were to hand me this phone and I take it, it's now mine. Whenever you take something, that's an open invitation, an agreement that you're taking that. That's not good. You got to be very careful what you will reach out and take in this life. Sometimes you can get the wrong things, and these people are happy to give you the wrong things. They're happy to curse and hex your life and cause you all kinds of bad trouble and bad things to happen to you, to take your husband or wife away from you, or to take your children away from, turn your children against you. Whatever the situation is, they love that kind of stuff. That's what they live for, to create this kind of devilment in the world, this kind of stuff, So don't give them that opportunity. Don't take it from them. Whenever somebody reaches out something to give to you, like the Trojan horse, that's a good lesson. Be careful of gifts that people give you. Be very careful of what you take into your life, because once they put that in your hand, it's yours. Okay, until you give it away again. And there are only two ways to deal with a cursed item. You must bless it, neutralize it, or give it back to the person that cursed you. That's it. It works two ways. If you can give it back to the person that cursed you, then they get the curse back, and you're free. Gigi says, help others, help myself, help. Hey, yeah, well, that's what we got to do. We're here to hopefully help each other out. We're all in this together, okay? Just remember that. That's the number one motto of humanity. We're all in this together, okay? A Dybbuk box. Oh, yeah, that's another one. That's just that is a demon snare. Okay, a demon snare is something that you're going to open up a lot of trouble. It's like the Pandora's box thing, okay? And a devil trap can be a cursed item that attaches to you and causes you bad luck and all this other, whatever name you want to call these things. They are nothing but spells, hexes, and curses put out there to just like a bomb waiting to go off in somebody's life. Don't let it be your life, okay? Be very, very careful of things that you bring into your life. I don't care what it is. Even if something comes from Walmart, be very careful. I don't like used items. That's why this old boy don't like to use items, because you don't know what they've been used for, and you don't know what environment they come out of. That's what you got to be very careful about it. If you're going to get something new that nobody's ever used, okay? But be very careful about accepting gifts and things from strangers too, because you might be getting a lot more than you're bargaining for. Absolutely. I have seen these things. I have seen these things make people's life a living hell. And I don't say, and I mean that figuratively too. I remember Bill J. Bean, Warrior Mode, two favorite shows one night, both Warriors. Oh, okay. We'll have to check him out. Yeah, clothes. Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you something. Be very careful about used clothes because who knows what ceremonies and rituals were done while they were wearing those clothes. I mean, you got to just kind of think ahead on this, folks. Say, what am I getting myself into here? You know? Use the old noggin on that because you got to be very careful. Like I say, everything in this world is a lot of most everything is not what it appears to be, or and it may have some history to it that you don't want to deal with. You know, absolutely. But that's like that old fable of Pandora's box. Wouldn't the world would have been a whole lot better off if that young lady had reined in her curiosity? But that's the way it goes. Curiosity killed the cat, but they say satisfaction brought him back. I don't know about that, but yeah, this can be clothes, it can be items. Food, I don't know too much about. That depends. Food, you might can take food or something, but I would be very leery of that. Somebody can poison you that way. I mean, yeah, there are people that do that. There are poisoners that they go out and sneak poison in stores and in food items and stuff like that. These people are psychotic, folks. They're just downright black, dirty, low down evil as they can get. And they don't care what they do to you, whether it takes your life or makes your life a living hell, kills your children or your grandchildren, or you too, causes everybody a bad problem, causes you to kill yourself. They would love to do that. That would be fun to them. They would laugh their head off about that. Come on. Don't give them a good time. That's a big thing now. People selling used clothes, buying bulk sales. My son's girlfriend does it. I'm going to bless everything she's given to me from now on. That is a good idea. If it's something you don't know the history of, if it's used, something like that, especially like clothes, that's a good item. Bless it. Here's the good thing about it. Bless it, salt it, anoint it, and then wash it. Washing, by the way, is a good way of spiritually cleansing something as well. Okay? That's what you do every morning when you take a shower, I cleanse myself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. I let the water run over me and wash it away. You know what I'm saying? That's a good way. That's another way to spiritually cleanse something. Oh, absolutely. Let's say if it is to leave a drink unattended. Absolutely. You don't do that. It's not in this world anymore. You can't. What did I say last show? The number one rule of survival. I hate to tell you this. It sounds bad, but you got to follow it. Trust no one. Trust no one. That's what they used to sound with X-Files. That's very true, especially in the government. Trust no one. Unless you absolutely 100% know them people. Don't trust them. You will survive much better that way. Absolutely. We were talking about black SUVs. Let's get back to that now. Okay. Well, black SUVs is an interesting thing. Like I said, I have had them tell me, but these were government vans. I think one of them actually was a black van, and then since then I've had SUVs, and they are definitely government because they got government tax. But they buzz my house every now and then. And let me tell you what, somebody said, Dennis, you're just getting paranoid. They probably live around you somewhere. No, they do not, because I have checked everybody out miles around me looking for that SUV, these government cars. There's nobody around here within proximity. Should be buzzing my house on a regular basis that lives around here. They drive government car. No. I've checked that point out for sure. So I don't know what's going on with that. I just think that every now and then they won't send me a message like say, hey, we're here, we're still here, you know. I think that's just the way they operate. Yes, I do the water cleaning in the shower, any water. I love rivers. That's why you get baptized. Washes your sins away. Uh, Actually, if you look at it hypothetically, when you take a shower, listen to this now. When you take a shower or you get baptized or whatever you do with water, you are symbolizing the creation of life. You are in a sack of water in your mother. Okay, you got to remember that. Your body is 90% water. You are water, my friends. Okay, from the beginning of your life until the end, to when that water dissipates in the ground, you are water, and that is the number one cleansing thing is water, whether it be spiritual, physical, or whatever. But anyway, okay. That's enough about the snare traps and the devil traps and all that. Be very careful, okay? It's just a warning, kind of keep in mind there's a lot of bad actors out there in the world, and they want to cause you some trouble and make your life very bad. Let's not go that route. All right, but anyway, get back to the black SUVs for a minute. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. That's kind of flaky. As you know, Jessica did a show here lately on the missing people of the 411. There's some really weird stuff going on with that, and I've read all the books, the 411 books and all that Paulson wrote and all. To me, there's something. I'm going to say this before I make this statement, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Something out there. I'm not trying to scare you, okay? But something out there is hunting the human race. Yeah, absolutely. I believe that 100%. What that something is still open to conjecture, my friends. But hey, I'll know it when I finally meet you face to face. Robin Stearns, I got some Aussies here. I love Australia, by the way. Welcome aboard, all you Australians. You're home here, okay? This is your home away from home. I love Australia. I love everything about Australia. Australia is neat. I always say if I had the money, I was like, Elon Musk or something, I would retire to Australia and buy me a big ranch or station, as they call them in Australia. One of the best books I ever read was called The Map of Giants. And it was about the mapping expeditions that went out to map Australia back in the early days. It was a fantastic book. If you ever get a chance to read that, it was fantastic. Great story and had a lot of the history of Australia in it. But anyway, the only thing about Australia I don't like is that many plants and animals want to kill you. Well, they are that way everywhere. No matter where you go, you can find something that's always, stepping on board saying, I'll kill you if you want me to, kind of thing. And that includes human beings. We all have to be careful no matter where we're at. And Crystal says, I want to visit Australia on my bucket list for sure. Oh, yeah. My favorite, I had a friend that once lived in, her name was Willow. She lived in Queensland. And she said that one night a Tasmanian tiger actually ran out in front of her car. She said those things are so. She saw it. She said, I know what it was. It had the stripes. It was the mouth. I know exactly what it was. It was a Tasmanian tiger. I said, that don't surprise me that something like that could still be out there in some areas of the wild. No doubt about it. I hope they are. I really do. Because that was one beautiful animal. Absolutely. And they think they may have, I saw a picture the other day, they may have actually found a dodo bird. The dodo birds supposedly went extinct like 100 years ago, and they think they may have found one that's alive walking around. Or there's one that's maybe, some breeding pairs. But it was on an island, I think. I hope that the dodo is still with us. I wonder if he tastes like chicken. Nah, we don't need to know that. But anyway, yeah, those black SUVs, watch out for them. Keep your eyes open. keep your head on a swivel, okay? If you see something like that, be wary of it. It could just be somebody in a black SUV, or it could be something else. I don't know what's going on with that, but like I say, I'm going to do some more research on this, okay? I'm going to keep my ears open on this, and the more I find out about it, I will definitely let you know in the future about this. But it does not sound good. This does not sound. There's some bad stuff, bad juju connected with this. No matter which way you look at it. And if people start disappearing you with black SUVs and all, this is not good. Okay. I know the men in black exist because I have met them. This could be some other form of the men in black. They could be agents of the darkness or whatever. I don't know what's going on with this, but it sounds very flaky and it needs more investigation. The coelacanth fish we thought was extinct and then found alive as well, John Fortman says. Absolutely. I believe that there are, this is my own personal feeling, okay? I can't back it up for sure. I don't have 100% proof, but this is just my own personal opinion. I believe there are still dinosaurs in this world. I don't believe they all died out. And, one day and that was it. I believe there are still dinosaurs here. Now, there may not be Tyrannosaurus Rex or big brontosaurus walking around, but I believe there may be some, especially in places. My number one place to go look for them would be the Congo in Africa. I think, what's his name? Mo Makimbi or something. It's being seen down there. It sounds like a dinosaur. There's some weird stuff, but I'm going to tell you what, my friends, the ocean is big enough to hide anything. And underneath us is another world that we know nothing about. There could be a lot of things in there, and there are pockets on this planet that no man or woman has ever set foot in. There are places still like that. We were told lies as children. Oh, the world's been explored. That is a bunch of bull. This world has not been explored completely. No, not without a doubt. There's still places. Patricia wants to know, what do you think of the white buffalo being born out? Well, now, I talked to a Native American friend of mine about that, and it is a prophecy come to pass. But there have been other white buffaloes born. But let me say this about the white buffalo. Okay, it is supposed to be a harbinger of good things, and it can also be a harbinger of bad things. And it's supposed to come along in the 10th generation, and this is the 10th generation. That's what's so interesting about this one being born. This is the 10th generation. This is when the prophecy is supposed to be fulfilled with the white buffalo, or the white buffalo woman. She said she would come back when this buffalo was born to help her people. Anyway, you got to remember one thing about the white buffalo. There have been previous white buffalo born, but they were albinos. They had pink eyes and all. This is a real, true white buffalo that was born because it has black eyes and black hooves. It is not an albino, okay? You take it from there, all right? But if you want to read something fascinating, read the story about the prophecy of the white buffalo woman, okay? Dinosaurs have been spotted on Bradshaw Ranch in Sedona, 8 emerging dimensions. It's another thing they could be some. I think there are things walking through our world that don't belong here, and they come through dimensional doorways sometimes. I believe that without a doubt. I've experienced my own portal thing. I walked to a portal. I know without a doubt it's a portal. I lost something like 30 minutes in that portal that I should not have lost. I still would like to know what happened to my 30 minutes. Well, about 35 minutes, I think. Oh, there's a George here, I'm sure of it. Okay. I shall keep him and love him and call him George. I remember that, Midwest. That's a good one. But anyway, there's a lot of things I can tell you. I think, but there are some things I know about because I have actually experienced them. I know there's a Bigfoot. That to me, that argument's over. I know it without a doubt because I met him face to face, eye to eye. Okay. I mean, I was close enough. I could have reached out and smacked him upside the head. I wouldn't advise that, though. I was that close. Okay, I was very close to him, and I know that settled the question for me. There's no doubt. I know he exists out there. But like I said before, whenever you have that kind of experience, when you meet a demon face to face, or you see Bigfoot, or you see a ghost apparition, a full bodied apparition that I've seen, when you see these things, you will always be haunted by the question that follows: if this is real, what else is out there? And to me, my friends, that's what makes this universe so darn fascinating. And she lost all memory when in the portal. Well, I didn't lose a memory per se. I just I went through some kind of a time thing because down that trail should have only took me as far as I went, and I didn't go all the way down that trail that day. Took me about 10 minutes, 5 minutes down, 5 minutes back. But when I got back, it was 30 minutes, 35 minutes actually later than when I went. That was weird. What happened to that time? Because I'm very good at time. Like I told you before, my mind is very good at time. Right now, I can say I'll wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock a.m. and I will. That's just the way my mind is set on time very well. Okay, I can judge minutes and time very well. I know when it's 5 o'clock and I mean it's just the way I'm made. Okay, and I know something happened to my 35 minutes. I don't know what. I don't remember anything. I don't have any memory. I don't. Somebody, well, Rob mentioned, oh, do you think you were abducted? No, I don't have any abduction memories or anything like that. But it was real freaky that day. I mean, I could just tell in my own spirit when I went down that trail. The trail was unknown. It was just like it had changed. Okay. When I got down this trail, I said, "This is not right." There were no birds. The birds quit singing. The sun went dimmer. Everything just kind of went strange. It went sideways. That's the only way I can describe it. Everything went sideways. There was electrical feel, like a slight humming or vibration in the air. My compass was doing this. I mean, it was freaky. And I'm saying, okay, I do not like this. Okay. I'm backing up like I did with that rattlesnake I told you about. I'm backing out of this situation. I know this is not right. And I turned around 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out. I got back to point A. Everything was okay. Everything just went away. The whole thing, the birds started singing again, everything. I looked down and I'm 35 minutes off. Oh, but I also love to go to there to check out all the underground houses. Yeah, that's that. Alaska has mammoths out in the tundra, so I've heard. That would not surprise me, but I just do not think everything just disappeared in a certain time period, went blinked out. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that, especially with dinosaurs that were all over the world. We know they were everywhere. Okay. I don't think they died out that quick. And look at some of the living dinosaurs that are still with us. The chickens are one of them, by the way. But look at the crocodiles and the alligators and Komodo dragon and all these other things that are still with us. They haven't died out. I know saber-toothed tiger. She's a real out her coffee. Woo! Oh, yeah, you ain't married. You ain't married to her. You know her real well. Okay. Let's see, your videos and Oz. Yeah, I keep forgetting they call Australia Oz. That's a little nickname for it. Chickens are tiny raptors. Yep, that's what they are, with feathers. You take a chicken, take all its feathers off, and honest to gosh, it looks like a doggone dinosaur. It does. I've seen some chickens that were meaner than dinosaurs, I think. Was there electrical smell? Yeah, it was. Well, I don't know if I can tell you for sure. It wasn't a burning smell or anything like that, but it was all. It just everything went sideways. It was just everything was different, and it was out of place. I had the weirdest feeling of being out of time and space. It just didn't feel right at all. And it was unsettling. I mean, I don't usually get emotional over stuff like that, you know? Like I said before, Fear and we parted ways a long time ago. Okay, folks? Believe me, I could not have done a lot of things over the years that I did if I let fear get in the way. Okay? Because I have been in some very freaky, very fearful situations. Trust me, I could write a book on it. Um, no, that's why it wasn't fearful in that respect. It just did not feel right. It was just way off center, whatever it was. It was weird. I never had that happen before or since. Overbill says, I understand that. I felt it too. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to describe, but you know it when you encounter it. And it's just weird. I have had certain other situations where I have been around extreme evil places. I have walked into evil that was just, you could cut it with a knife. It's like a fog. I could feel it and I knew it. And it kind of, I'll call it bruising your spirit. It hurts your spirit in a certain way. You feel it. You know it without a doubt. What you're walking into is something out of the ordinary. You know? I wonder if dinosaurs taste like chicken. I bet they do. Or you might taste like chicken to them. You ever think about that? I bet we don't taste good. I've never eaten a human being, but I bet they don't taste good. Maybe. I don't know. There were never any dinosaurs, just enormous humans. Well, there is a theory, and I've been reading a lot lately about this. Any of you are not familiar with Ron Wyatt, you need to look up him. You need to look him up on YouTube. He's no longer with us. He died back in 1999, but that man was a very exceptional man. And he went in and investigated a lot of things. He supposedly found the Ark of the Covenant. He found Noah's Ark. He found the Red Sea crossing. You need to check out the videos on Ron Wyatt. That's like Wyatt Earp, but it's Wyatt is his last name. Check it out and see what you think. It is fascinating stuff. Even if just part of it is real or true, it's still fascinating. This guy puts Indiana Jones to shame. Okay. He did some really interesting stuff. Check it out on YouTube. You'll be glad you did. Yeah, I heard of him. A lot of cool stuff he did. All over, Bill said. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And his sons are still taking up for him, doing some other, still continuing his research and everything. It's fascinating stuff. But anyway, here, let's see. There were ginormous. That sounds like something Donald Trump would say. Ginormous. But anyway, what I was going to say about that, what you got me thinking about, there is a theory that back before the flood, that everything was much bigger. Humans were bigger, animals were bigger, and that's not that far fetched. We know that there were 6-foot tall penguins. We know there were 8-foot tall sloths, tree sloths that climbed up trees. We know there were giant spiders. Right now in this world, my friends, there exists giant snakes. A reticulated python was measured at 32 feet length. That is a giant snake in my book. I don't know about you, but that's a giant snake to me. And then there was a report the other day of that poor lady being swallowed by a snake, a 16-foot python, I think it was in the Burmese jungle. She went missing. Her husband went looking for her. Next day, they found this snake with a very large belly. They cut him open and out popped her head. This stuff is real, folks. I'm not making it up. This really happened. You still got giant stuff in this world. I think you still got giants in certain places, maybe. There's a new intel on the story of Ark Covenant. It seems it happens as he stated, and they have it. He said there are 4 angels guarding it, and they told him it will be revealed when God wants it to be revealed. Until then, it won't. Humans live longer, and too, unless something ate them. That's right. They had a longer lifestyle. They were bigger, healthier. They were like superhumans almost, and to a certain extent, in some ways, compared to us in that respect. Tried searching for Pennsylvania dragon sightings and got a lot of bleak pictures of Bigfoot and UFOs. Oh, yeah. That's where you got dragon. Let me tell you something right quick. I don't know if you know this or not. The word dinosaur was invented in 1841. Up until then, you know what they call dinosaurs? There was no such word. We call them dragons. There you go. Yeah, we used to live hundreds of years. We're talking about like 900 years here, folks. Back in according to Scripture, Bible, one day to God is 1,000 years. One day. And these people never lived out a whole 1,000 years, one day in God's time. Like Paul Bunyan, yeah. There you go. Let's see. Back in Jurassic period, there was higher oxygen content. Everything grew bigger due to this. That too, and you know what? If you go back, you'll find something very interesting in the Bible about the book of Genesis. Until the day Noah stepped into the ark, it did not rain. It never rained until that day when it started raining. Where was all this rain at? There is speculation that the firmament above the earth was like and the world was like being in your mother's womb in a sack, a birth sack. Okay? And that sack burst and all the world was flooded through that. The Bible says he opened the heavens up and he opened up the fountains of the world. He sent the water through everything. Okay? We know this, but up until that day that Noah walked into the ark, it never rained, not one drop. The dew every morning was heavy on the earth, and the earth was renewed by the dew every night that came on it. That's how everything grew. Okay, so you're looking at a very super hothouse-like effect here going on, in that respect. Yeah, some weird stuff back in the day. Also, Vietnam U.S. military found a huge black snake was estimated in 109. It is not that far-fetched, and giant spiders have been reported. I know of one report, and there are a lot of legends of these certain women that could turn into giant spiders. Oh yeah, absolutely. You got a lot of legends about these giant spiders. Oh yeah. I would not want to mess with that. Look at what happened to Frodo. Also, let's see. I think it was. I'm losing my feed here. Okay. There you go. I'll put that up for you. Okay. Also, let's see. Dennis, did the morning dew have special properties? It may have, because it made everything grow. And like we just got through saying, everything was bigger. It was super. Everything, the further back in time you go, the more prevalent it was. But as you come back to an hour at a time, everything gets weaker and smaller and less viable than it was before. Every generation is that way. The Bible, I think it says in the Bible, that every generation, then talking about man, will be weaker and wiser. Okay, that's just the way these things go in that respect. And when you get weaker, you got to be wiser to survive. Okay, that's just the way that goes. And so you had super people. You had a whole race of giants, folks. You had a whole race of giants, without doubt, walking around. But these were not your friendly giants. It wasn't the Jolly Green Giant. Okay, and we're going to talk about this in the seminar. This was a race of monsters that was in this world, that man had to contend with this race of monsters, man-eating monsters, folks. I kid you not. A little bit late, Devi, but better late than never, buddy. Okay. Good to have you here, brother. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this stuff is going on. I know that. And here's what somebody said to me the other day. Said, Dennis, you really believe in this stuff? I said, yes, some of it I do, definitely, because there's evidence for it. Absolutely. And it's not that far-fetched. I know it sounds like science fiction. It sounds like, something Edgar Rice Burroughs might have wrote about or whatever. No. This is it is probable. It is probable, without a doubt, in my book, because I've seen evidence for it, and a lot of this has been covered up. Okay, a lot of this has been covered up by the Smithsonian and some of these other things. They don't want you to see the bones. They don't want you to know about these giants because it does not fit what their criteria. Okay, it does not fit, and also they are enemies of the truth. Some of these people are enemies. What I told you before about the forces of darkness in this world, they are enemies of the truth and the light, and all this stuff. They are enemies of that. They don't want the truth to be known. They want to keep this cover up going on and on. They want the. You know why? Because secret knowledge gives them the power that they want. What did I say? I think it was in my last show about how governments work. Governments cannot work without their secrets. That's just the way the governments work. And do you think they're going to tell you their secrets? No, because then they would give you their power. That's not going to happen. They may say, oh, we're going to disclose this, we're going to disclose. They might give you some little tidbits, but they're not going to give you the whole thing. They're not going to give you the real thing. They're not going to tell you what's really going on. And this is what I said on Jessica's show the other day. I want you to listen very closely to what I'm about to say. The technology that you've got in your hand right now, the technology that you have is 50 to 100 years less than what the government has. 50 to 100 years behind what they've got. Trust me, that's just a true statement, my friends. You just don't know. Easy grammar, sarcasm, really? Okay. Do you think atheists would change their minds if they saw the truth? Well, not really. You got to want to have the truth. You remember what happened to Pontius Pilate? Okay, he had the truth standing right there in front of him. He had Jesus standing right there. He had the truth standing in front of him. And you know what? He still asked the question, what is truth? Truth standing right in front of him, he couldn't see it because he didn't want to accept it. His wife did. His wife warned him, let this man go. He's done nothing. Don't do anything to this man. He wouldn't even listen to his own wife, because that's not the truth he wanted to believe in, folks. Okay? When I talk about truth, I mean truth that stands empirically on its own against everything else. Not the truth that you or I might want to believe in, or what we think is right. It's not necessarily always right. The real truth is what will stand forever. Pontius Pilate had the truth standing in front of him, but he wouldn't take it. He lost it. That's what happens if you deny the truth. And these people are enemies of the truth. They know what's really going down, but they don't want you to know that, because then you would share their power. Don't you understand that? They're not going to share power with you. No. If I'm the richest, strongest, most powerful man in the world, am I going to share my power with you? Do you think I would? No. It's not going to work that way. That's just the way people do. They're not going to share their power or knowledge with you. They'll keep covering the truth up as long as possible, because they want control over the truth. They want control over you. That's the way that works. Pride heart, rainbow feeling, pride heart. Yeah, one guy was talking about touchscreen he used in 1970 tablet form. Yeah. The government is at least 100 years ahead of us. Absolutely. 50 to 100 years, somewhere in there probably. It's amazing what people can convince themselves is not true, no matter how obvious, Sean says. Absolutely. And that's why I've told so many people in the paranormal community, don't go into that haunted house believing you're going to see something, or you already got your mind to believe it. Go in there like it's a crime scene. You know what Sherlock Holmes used to do? And I've always been a big fan of Sherlock, okay? He's my kind of guy. I like old Sherlock. He's smart, but he always went in and said, okay, get out of the way. Don't mess anything up, Watson, and let this talk to me. He would go and let this area talk to him. That's the way you got to do it. You got to keep your mind open to the possibilities. You got to keep your mind open. Don't shut it down on one thing. So I believe it's this, I believe it's that. Until you have that evidence. Like, remember I told you about that balance in your mind, that scale of balance. I got a balance scale around here. Well, you weigh everything on it and come to your conclusion. But the evidence has to weigh out. A preponderance of the evidence is what we say in law enforcement. That's what you got to go with. That's why they're freaking out, because so many are seeking truth, and walking up and waking up and can't stop it now. It's like a snowball going down. You'll get bigger. The truth will set you free. But they want to keep that truth from you. They don't want you to be free. You got to understand that. And they're not going to give you full disclosure. You'll never get full disclosure out of these guys. But there is a very distinct statement in the scriptures. Listen to what I'm about to say. And I believe this wholeheartedly, okay? I wasn't repeating. And this is what it says. God says this: everything that is covered will one day be revealed. That day is coming, my friends. There'll be no more secrets in this world, no more cover-ups, no more holding or hiding the truth from people. That day is coming. It's useful to always check in with yourself as to what evidence it would take to change your mind. Absolutely. You got to have a preponderance of the evidence. That stands up in courts of law, folks. I didn't invent it. Especially when you feel certain. Freaky, we had a lot of fun sometimes there. You're going to see some things coming down the line. I'm not going to get into that tonight, okay? But you're going to see some things coming down the line that you ain't never seen before, okay? I'm afraid we're living under the old Chinese, since we talked about curses, there's an old Chinese curse that says, may you live in interesting times. Well, I'm afraid we are under that curse. We are living in some very interesting times, and hang on, folks. It's going to get a whole lot more interesting. Absolutely. Absolutely. For the two Johns here, all we have to do is use reverse psychology with the government. Yeah. Well, the government ain't going to never play fair with you. That's just the way they go. Like I've said this before, I hate this. I had to make this statement, but it is so very true. The government is not your friend. It never was your friend, and it probably never will be your friend, okay? That's just the way governments are, because governments are imperfect, because they are made by imperfect men and women. They're never going to be perfect. There's never going to be a utopia here, folks. Not brought about by mankind. Nah. Our Creator will place a utopia. Our Creator will straighten everything out, but it's not going to be us. We're imperfect. We're not going to work that way. One day we will be perfect, but that's a long ways off. It's a false reality. Everything and everyone is playing the part. Some are aware and then you're not. I want to say something, Eugene, okay? What we are living, the days that we're living, what we're living in now. I want you got to remember this. Listen very closely. This is the destiny of the world playing out. Don't you understand? This has already been written. This has already been foreseen. This is already coming. It's already happening right now. This is playing out, okay? Your Creator says, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. I number the hairs on your head. That's a very important statement. I knew you. From the foundations of the earth. He has known us, okay? He knows all about us. He knows our destiny. He knows whether our names are in the books, because he has the books with every thought, every action, every word, everything we have ever done and didn't do are recorded in those books. Somebody is writing all this down somewhere, folks, because the destiny of the world has already been written. God knows what it is. We don't. We may have to wait and live it, play it out, but he knows, okay? But listen, this is all. This is not a coincidence. This is not a random thing that's happening here. This is all meant to be this way. Okay, that's just the way it goes. We are getting storms out of northwest usually at this time. They will be coming from the southwest. Weird things are going on. The weather, this world, be looking for it, okay? The world is going to turn against nature. Is going to turn against us. It's coming, okay? Nature, that includes the weather and all kinds of stuff. You know, it's going to turn against us. It's already doing that to a certain extent, but you ain't seen nothing yet. It's coming. And don't forget about that ring of volcanoes that circle this planet. The ring of fire. Don't forget those. Those are very important. I think I understand maybe if you would listen a little more. Okay. Okay, the United States is surrounded by Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and with their finger on the button and most of the... See, somebody's going to have to do something about that, and it's not going to be men. Mere men cannot do... So, mere men cannot mess up can straighten out what we've messed up. That's not going to happen. You ever had a little kid mess up something, mess up a room or something like that? You can't expect them to clean it up. That's the way it goes with kids, okay? And that's the way it's going with us. We are definitely screwing things up. We're the problem and not the solution. Unfortunately, that's just the way that goes. But anyway, the United States is surrounded. Yeah, we're surrounded on all sides. There is an evil empire in this world, absolutely. But anyway, the whole thing in a nutshell is there is a destiny, and it will play out, absolutely. But anyway, that's tonight's show, and don't forget now, Monday night with my good friend Gerald Fountain. Monday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing. We're going to check it in on our friend Lizzie Borden here. Okay. That's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about some interesting things that she did. I would love to, on my bucket list, is spending the night in that house. Definitely. I would love to do that. But anyway, we're going to be talking about that Monday night, and our seminar's coming up June 26th at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be the Nephilim, the rise of the fallen. Okay. Going to be talking about the fallen angels. Absolutely. It's time for them to rise. Although the Nephilim are still with us. You'll hear all about that. Okay. Absolutely. And I want to thank you all for joining me here tonight. I'll give you a quick poem, okay? I was thinking about this. We was talking about stuff like that the other day. Reminds me of I like Robert Frost, and one of my favorites was his. Nature's first green is gold, its hardest hue to hold. Its early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. For leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, and nothing gold can stay. And that's the way it goes in this world, unfortunately. And I want to appreciate you all being here tonight. I absolutely do. And for all the stickers you give me, I very much appreciate that. It goes a lot towards our overhead and expenses and stuff. And like I say, if you decide you want to get the 7 Archangels necklaces, they are going to be available very shortly. You send me your name, address, how many you want. They're $9.95, $2 for shipping if you can do it. And I'm getting some special mailers to send these out with. Like I say, you're going to want to keep the mailer. It's going to be a keeper, okay? And you send me your address, and you can send payment as I won't be taking personal checks, but you can send mail order or something like that if you want to go that route. And let me know. I'm going to set up a thing for the books too shortly. But you let me know if that's what you want to do, and those necklaces will be blessed, okay? And I think a lot of people ask about that, and we will do that. You just send it to Dennis W. Carroll at gmail.com, okay? That's on the ticker down here at the bottom. That's Dennis W. Carroll at gmail.com. Send your order there, and I will definitely get these things in the mail to you as soon as I get them. I got them on order, so it should be within the next week or two that we've got these and we're ready to go with them, okay? But you go ahead and get your order in, and let me know what you want. And I appreciate you all being here. And until we get together again, remember, omni exuit in mysterium, all things in mystery. And until we get together again, my friends, via con Dios.